Hey everyone, Mike Burke here with InsideRealEstatePhotography.com. So I just shot my first real estate video with the new Sony A7S III in 4K, 120 frames per second, and I'm going to share with you my thoughts on how it went. So if you follow this channel, then you probably already know that I got my new Sony A7S III recently, and I've been excited to try out its new video features and capabilities such as shooting 4K 120 frames per second. I told you I would keep you guys updated on this new camera for those of you that are interested, so here we are. I finally got the opportunity to test this baby out in the real world, so I wanted to make this video and update you all about it. So before getting this new camera, I'd been shooting with the Sony A7 III and also the Sony A7S II, and both of those cameras only have the ability to shoot HD footage up to 120 frames per second, not 4K. So up until now, my real estate videos were shot in either 60 or 120 frames per second in 1080 HD, and it's worked pretty great, but now that I have the capability of shooting both those frame rates and now in 4K with this new camera, I've been excited to take advantage of those capabilities and the benefits that it can offer. But before I share my thoughts on that and how the camera performed, let's first take a look at the video that I shot so you can see the footage for yourself and have a reference. So let me just preface this video by saying it's not a typical property, as it's a Jewish vacation rental home. This client runs a network of these, and I shoot the photos and videos for them for their website so people can see the homes before they rent them. The best way to explain it is that it's essentially like a kosher Airbnb. I just wanted to explain that so that you're not wondering why it's set up the way it is when you're watching the video. Alright, so without further ado, let's take a look at the video and I'll share my thoughts with you on the other side. Alright guys, so what did you think about the footage? Please let me know in the comments below. So let me start by saying that I'm not exporting these videos in 4K. I wouldn't deliver a video in 4K to a client because that's still pretty much overboard for real estate clients. I'm editing these videos on a 1920 by 1080 HD timeline, and I'm exporting them in that same resolution. So what's the point of shooting it in 4K if you're not exporting it in 4K, you may be wondering? Well, there are a couple of benefits. For one, it allows you flexibility in editing because it allows you to punch in on your footage up to 50% and recompose your shots without any loss of quality, and that is a big advantage. Also, shooting in 4K and downsizing it to an HD timeline, as we're discussing, still yields better looking footage than shooting natively in HD in camera. Now, I haven't compared the downsized 4K footage to the native HD footage with this specific camera as of yet, but judging on past experiences with previous cameras, this has been the case. I will have to run that experiment when I get a moment. Now, are we talking about a huge jump in quality? No, but it is an increase in quality of the footage nonetheless, and we of course want our footage to look the best that it can be. Also, we definitely need to acknowledge the fantastic low light and low noise capability of this camera. This house may not have been spectacular or had the greatest lighting, and I definitely had to push the ISO at times, but I still think the footage looked cleaner and higher quality than what I'm used to coming out of the A7 III. Also, the A7S III is shooting in 10-bit 422 versus 8-bit 420 from the A7 III, so there is more color information there as well. So those are the benefits of shooting in 4K, but what are the downsides? For me, the biggest downside is probably the file sizes. Shooting in 4K 120 frames per second, an XAVC-S has a bitrate of 280 megabits per second, which is no joke. The footage I shot for this specific shoot came in at around 80 gigabytes, and that will definitely take up some room on your hard drives. Also, because of this high bitrate footage, if you don't have a supercomputer, then you're gonna have a hard time editing it. I just convert the files into proxy files and I cut through them like butter. It's not that big of a deal, but it is an extra step. I just set up my computer to convert the files into proxies while I'm sleeping or while I'm out shooting, so when I get back, they're all set and ready to go. Also, another slight downside that I experienced was that shooting in 4K 120 frames per second really gobbled up my battery. I imagine it's really hard work for the camera to process this high bitrate footage, so it's hard on your batteries. I put a fresh one in before I started shooting, and it was pretty much depleted by the time I finished, which was only a little over an hour. If you're unfamiliar with these Sony batteries, they are really good too. Typically, I can go all day shooting 5 or 6 photo shoots and only use one battery. So, will I continue to shoot my real estate videos in 4K 120 frames per second? Yeah, I think I will. I think the benefits and flexibility of it is worth it to me. What do you guys think? Worth it or not worth it? Leave a comment below. I'm also definitely going to do some experimenting with picture profiles to see what kind of dynamic range I can squeeze out of this thing. For this video, I used PP1, which is what I have been using, but now that the base ISO for S-Log3 with this camera can go as low as 160, that can definitely open some doors in the dynamic range department, so definitely stay tuned for those findings. I'm definitely on a quest to find the best possible settings for this camera to get the absolute best quality for real estate videos. Alright guys, so that's about all for this video. I just wanted to update you on how this camera is performing so far for me, as I promised I would. If these type of videos are not your thing, have no fear. I have some great tutorial type videos coming your way very soon. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe, as it helps this channel grow, and I really appreciate your support. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways, please check out the link down in the description below. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you again on the next one.